Good morning. This is Denise at the Rustic Barn Ranch, and today I thought I would share with you our homemade dog food recipe. We use several different recipes, but this is just one of them. I'm going to make it on a smaller scale so we can get through it a little bit quicker today. We have 4 dogs, 2 big, 2 small, different calorie requirements. So we make this in bulk, so we don't use this smaller quantity. We use about 4 times this. So if you multiply what we're using today times 4, you'll get enough feed for about 4 dogs. 2 big, 2 small is what we have. We're going to be using 3 pounds of ground beef. It's about a 85-15%. You'll need fresh broccoli, fresh carrots, about 2 large, and the organic ones I bought this time were a little thinner, so I'm going to go ahead and use 2 small and 2 long of those. Fresh spinach, broccoli, brown rice, about 2 cups, and 1 large sweet potato. And instead of using water in the rice, we like to use the Better Than bouillon. This is the beef base, so we'll mix up our own and use that to cook the rice, in addition to about 1 pat of butter, just to make the rice, very palatable and tasty. If you're not going to use bouillon and you choose to use water, no broth, no bouillon, just the water, you'll want to make sure you add a teaspoon of sea salt to your recipe. But we're going to use the bouillon today. So what we'll do is we'll get started cutting all this up. We're going to cut the sweet potato into cubes, the carrots wash them and cut them into cubes, wash the broccoli, chop it up, and then we will put in the food processor the broccoli, the carrots, and the sweet potato. Our dogs don't typically like really huge chunks of things. If your dogs are big and they like chunky, just makes your life easier. You can chunk them up. You are going to cook them slightly, so they will soften, but we like to cut ours a little bit finer, so we use a food processor to make that easy. We'll get the rice on cooking. It takes about 30 minutes for the rice to cook. Again, this is just 2 cups because we're making this a smaller batch today. And we'll get the ground beef cooked, and then we will come back and show you everything cooked and ready to assemble. We also add egg. I didn't get to the egg. We also add egg to ours for extra protein and some vitamins. And I didn't get my peas out. We also add peas to ours. So anyway, we'll be back in just a moment. We're going to cut this up, probably show you everything cut up, and then we'll come back and show you everything cooked and ready to assemble. So we'll see you in a few minutes. So there's our veggies. Here's our veggies that we're going to use, all cut up, put into the food processor now. So we have our sweet potato, 1 large, our 2 large, or these are 4 thinner carrots, and our 1.5 to 2 cups of fresh broccoli. We'll throw all these in the food processor, and then I'll start cooking up the ground beef. And Troy is working on the brown rice. By the way, you don't have to use brown rice. You can use white rice. Brown rice just has a few more nutrients in it. And with the bouillon and the butter, it makes it nice and tasty and keeps it fluffy. You should always rinse your rice for at least 30 seconds under clean, fresh water to rinse off some of the starches so it doesn't get sticky on you. And keep in mind that this recipe is very interchangeable. You can take or leave the peas or the sweet potatoes. You can use legumes. You can use lentils. In case your dogs are allergic to anything. I am not a vet, so I don't want to give you any kind of veterinary advice on what's right for your particular pet as far as size or breed, age, and their needs as far as calories or foods. So please look into that for your specific pet. Our pets, this diet works well. It provides the right amount of calories at specific per cup feedings that we do for each individual dog. But as far as the ingredients, these work well for our dog. We've also used chicken, turkey, venison, anything we can source cheaply, that we can get at a reasonable price. We also grow a lot of things on the farm here. We didn't have a lot after the winter left over, so these were organic and store-bought. But we do grow sweet potatoes and carrots, so that we can make this even cheaper because we can source it from our own farm. We do not grow broccoli typically because it's a little harder to grow. We may try it this year, we may not. But anyway, so that's how we can cheaply source our food, is we grow it. But if you can't grow it, one sweet potato this size is probably like $1. So, if you had to buy 4 of them, it's about $4. So we feed our dogs. It's about probably $1 a day for the big dogs and about 50 cents a day for the 2 smaller dogs each. So it's about average what you'd spend on kibble and maybe some soft food. So anyway, I'm going to get started food processing this. The rice is going, and I'm going to cook up this hamburger meat and the eggs. Be back with you in a minute.
Yeah, you've done this before.
Can you get me a dog food can?
You don't have dog food cans. You're making it. How about a soup can?
Perfect.
Can you dump that in it? Kick the hole.
Here's our shredded veggies and our peas going into the skillet.
I got this. That looks yummy.
Doesn't it?
I think it needs more Campbell's soup.
Yeah, I think we should add a touch more. So I drain my grease and then I use it to cook the vegetables and the eggs. But I don't want to keep all of it in the beef. I don't like to use all the dripping. Depending on what kind of meat you're using, if it's a venison or a turkey, you may have, of course, less drippings off the meat when you cook them, so you would just use a corn oil or a vegetable oil. In this case, we're using a little bit heavier fat meat, so we had a little bit more drippings, so I didn't want to use all of that. So I poured some off before I threw my veggies in here. And this way I'm only using one pan and one pot. One for the meat, veggies, and eggs, and one for the rice while it sits here and cooks. And these veggies were cut up in the food processor just in seconds. So after you chop them, not too finely, just a rough cut, throw them in your food processor. If your dogs like chunkier, then just cut them up with your knife, or don't process them as long. That makes one more thing you get dirty is your food processor, but some dogs don't like really chunky vegetables. Get kind of a bigger piece. I don't want to overcook the veggies because it takes more nutrients out. But I do want to take a little bit nicer cube of carrot here. One of the bigger ones. Perfect. Kind of a medium chopped, and that was a bigger piece that isn't chopped as finely, which means these are all ready to go. And I can put them in with the ground beef. How's our rice looking, babe? Just about there?
Man, it's still got liquid in it.
It's coming along?
Maybe another 10 minutes.
So while we're waiting a few more minutes for the rice to finish, it'll be ready here in a couple minutes. I just wanted to let you know that this recipe in 1 cup servings makes about 350 calories. It has about kcals, excuse me. There are about 25 carbs, about 19 grams of protein, and about 18 grams of fat. Now that's going to change if you change the source of meat that you use, whether that be venison, lamb, fish, turkey, just eggs and no meats, duck, bison, whatever protein source you decide to use, it will change up that carb and protein and fat level. So keep that in mind when you're using alternatives, is to use a calculator. There's a couple of them on the internet that you can plug in the sources that you're using of all the carbs, proteins, things you're adding, and it will give you a calculation of the nutritional breakdown as far as calories per serving and the nutritional values. So those are really important for us. We follow those pretty closely just to make sure we're staying around the same calories and the same intake. Some foods we make, they may be a little higher in protein. We'll add some kibble. We buy a high quality kibble, and we will mix that with our homemade feed to make it last a little bit longer sometimes. So we don't just feed them the homemade straight all the time. We will add kibble once in a while throughout the week to make sure that anything we might be missing is in there. We also add dog organics. It's a powder that has minerals and vitamins in it, all natural, all non-GMO organic, and that provides them the remainder of any minerals or vitamins we may have missed. But it all comes from greens and natural sources. that are all ground up into a powder, and we add it at the very end as everything is cooling and finished. We don't want to cook it. That way, when we warm up the food to give it to the animals as their meal, it only gets warmed once, and we haven't broken down any of those nutrients as far as the minerals and the vitamins. So we only add it at the very end when everything is pretty much cooled off, and I will come back and show you what those are. The greens, I mean. Let's see, I was going to say, so you could use any vegetables that you have on hand. You don't have to buy these specific vegetables. Again, there's a lot of interchangeability with what you decide to use, depending on what's in your pantry as well, or what you may grow in your own garden that would reduce the costs for you. These items, I went ahead and purchased all of it so I could give you a breakdown about of the price. But like I said, we source things off our garden and our property, venison and such, and vegetables, so that it's not as expensive for us to make this ourselves. But you can use butternut squash, Brussels sprouts, fennel, the peas like we do. That you can use zucchini, sweet potato, fresh spinach. We'll add some cooked potato, regular potato, but only in moderation. You don't want to add too much of that. Pumpkin, celery, broccoli, which we used. The frozen peas we used, but you can add fresh peas. Bell peppers, green beans, kale, lentils, I believe soybeans, a lot of legumes you can add. So those are some other things. Just don't feed your dog onions, chocolate, garlic, tomatoes, or mushrooms. Those aren't ideal for dogs to eat, so don't add those. So anyway, I'm going to check on the rice, and then we will show you everything cooked and done and ready to mix up. He makes good rice. We're going to dish that into our pan. So, there you have it. We're back, and we have everything cooked. Hope you can see that good. We have our ground beef, our cooked eggs, our sweet potatoes, carrots, broccoli, and peas cooked, shredded in a food processor and then cooked in a little bit of the oils from the hamburger meat. Brown rice made with better than bouillon base, made with water and the better than bouillon. So we did not add additional salt because we used bouillon. And then our food processor fresh spinach, not cooked. So we will mix this all up. As you can tell, it's human food. It's real food that you're giving to your animal. So we'll just mix it up, and then once it cools, we'll add our dog organics, and we'll be able to package it up. Now, this isn't going to last very long for our 4 dogs, 2 big, 2 small dogs. But this is basically just a normal batch that if you would make if you own just maybe 1 dog, and would last you a couple weeks with 1 cup servings, like every day. Now we feed 2 cups, 2 cups, and then a cup and a cup to our different dogs. So we feed about 6 cups a day. So about 6 cups,
No.
12 cups.
5 cups. The little dogs only get a quarter cup of this off.
So anyway, our big dogs require about 1,400 calories, and the smaller dogs require about 550 to 600. So these are 338, about 350 calories. So we feed like a cup in the morning and a cup at night, or not quite a cup for the smaller dogs, and then we feed not quite 2 cups and 2 cups to come out to about the 1,340 calories they both need. So we'll just mix this up, add our greens, and then we will package it up, freeze. We would normally freeze some to last through the rest of the month, and then one batch we keep out about a 4 to 5 day supply. And once you get used to making it and seeing how much your dog eats of it and meeting their calorie requirements, and you calculate that, you can keep about 4 to 5 days in the fridge. You would freeze the rest in about a 4 to 5 day packages, measure them out with the scoop that you would use for your specific pet, and then freeze the rest, and then take them out like a day and a half before you end your last bag, so they can defrost in the fridge. You can warm this up in the microwave or on the stovetop. So that's it. I hope you liked our little how-to video on how to make homemade dog food. Please join us for our other videos. We have gardening videos, how-to videos, we have dogs and ducklings, and we have brand new calves. I'm just going to give this a quick stir and keep watching for all our other videos. We love having you with us. You can like, subscribe, and share. That helps us out a lot. And thank you to those of you who do that for us already. And, you know, I was telling Troy, just to scare your friends, make sure they're over at your house for a mealtime for your pet. Dish out a little bit of this, put it in your pet's dog food bowl. Dish out a little bit and put it in your own bowl. Warm them up in the microwave. Have a meal with your pet. Your friends will think you're absolutely nuts, but it's fun. This is all organic, and the meat is grass-fed and organic that we use today. And you can buy cheaper pieces of meat if you find brisket on sale, anything that you can ground yourself. So you can buy a cheaper piece of meat, like a cheaper cut of meat, and then grind it yourself, or cut it up into really small pieces, and that would work as well. So there you have it, all mixed up, beautiful, ready to package up once it is cooled off. So thanks for joining us. Like, subscribe, and share. Come see us at rusticbarnranch.net/shop to visit our shop. All proceeds go to helping us make our DIY videos, run our ranch, feed our brand new bottle-fed calves, and keep us up and going for all of our gardening videos and how-to videos, food videos. You name it, we probably are starting on it. So we are new homesteaders, and we love having you with us along for the ride. So thank you, and we'll see you again soon. So what do you think? Think we should give them all a taste? Well, I have special food for everybody. Your good stuff. I got your good stuff. We want to show everybody how much you like it. Good kids. Good kids. Like your bowl's clean. Yummy, yummy. You'll get your actual portion at night. We just wanted to show everybody how much our Pooches like their homemade food. Good kids. Nummy, nummy. Nelson's got to go around to check all the bowls, make sure he licked them clean. Good kids.